Hi everyone, my name is Stephen Lim. I'll be taking a 2-year gap year here at Philadelphia, and I'll be taking some classes and working at the Shea Institute, hoping to get into optometry school. Okay. I was saved on July 7th, 2007. It really is quite the coincidence. Maybe at the time I just wanted to be saved on the day of God's favorite number, or maybe I just wanted to be accepted by someone, anyone, even a God I only half believed in, out of the Christian home in which I was raised. But even though I was saved that day nearly a decade ago, I remained trapped in my self-imposed loneliness until the day I nearly died 3 years ago, my freshman year. It was on that day that I finally was able to begin to grasp the grace and love of God, because it was then that I realized I was never truly alone. But let's rewind a bit. I was raised in a Christian life with a Christian household, Christian friends, and even a Christian school. Despite it all, I never had a true relationship with Jesus. As a result, I felt lonely. I lived in the shadow of my more intelligent, more outgoing and popular brother. I struggled academically, striving to do well in classes I felt unqualified for and failing to meet the expectations of the teachers my brother previously had. I hated myself because I was overweight. I fell victim to constant bullying and ridicule by my peers. I looked to romance in an attempt to fill the void of loneliness, and was instead met with unstable and hurtful relationships that took me even further from God. As a result of these circumstances, among others, and my failure to look to God amidst it all, I eventually developed a mentality of self-loathing and dug deeper in my hole of loneliness. In college, I still sought to find a church because the church community was the only place in which I felt belonged back home. But even though I found an awesome church like GCC, I failed to put its wonderful community to good use and seek out that relationship with God I so desperately needed. Academics got harder and I struggled to keep up in the school I condemned myself for not deserving to be in. My brother was still doing greater things, and I was constantly reminded of that fact. My closest relationships fell apart, and I was alone, and I was deceived into thinking that I was left with nothing. And then one fateful night, I was alone in my single-room dorm. I remember hearing the devil whisper to my ear saying, "No one would notice if you died right now." And to a certain degree, he was right. I no longer interacted with those I was closest to, so no one would notice if I suddenly disappeared. So I attempted suicide. I reached into my closet and pulled out a random tie. I proceeded to hang one end of the white tie around my neck, and the other around the back of the door, and I slouched down with my back pressed against the door. By the time I realized that I feared death too much to want to die, I had too little energy to get up. I passed out in a matter of seconds, and I don't remember how long I was out for, but when I came to, the white tie I had used to hang myself had snapped. And the first words I uttered were, "By God's grace." It took me several years and a lot of time with awesome figures in the GCC community to finally understand the love of God. And back then, I definitely did not understand what God's grace was, but what I did understand in that moment was that no matter how lonely I felt, I was never truly alone, because God was always there watching me. He saved my life. It is only by His grace that I stand here today sharing my testimony with you guys. For I have been crucified with Christ, and I no longer live, but Christ lives in me. The life I now live in the body I live by faith in the Son of God, who loved me and gave Himself for me. Galatians 2:20. Thank you.